The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the Nikki Glaser Podcast. I am podcasting from New York City in my friend Sara Lena's house in Manhattan, Tribeca. Not going to get too much more detailed, but that's where I am. I'm joined here in this room, this guest room with me by my best friend, my former roommate, the woman who wrote this theme song. You know her, you love her, you've heard her on the podcast a million times. She's wearing socks that have the girl with the pearl earring on them. They are very cool. Where'd you get those? It's Anya Marina, everyone.
Thank you so much. I got them from a very nice couple in Richmond, Virginia that housed me for a house concert, hosted me.
They're really cool. I've never seen you wear something so bold.
I feel like I am the girl
and they
with the
have a
pearl
pearl
earring.
on them.
I know.
Into them, a real pearl. Those are so cute. And
how does that not fall off in
and
the laundry?
She's wearing my tour T-shirt. What'd you say? How is that not falling off in the wash?
It's insane. I don't know. There might have been two pearls at one point.
I was watching a video this weekend. Noah, by the way, is in Arizona joining us. Hey, Noah, how's it going?
Hey, good.
Hi. So this weekend we had a girls trip and we just all sent each other. Noah wasn't able to go, but man, we missed her and she'll be on the next one. But it was seven of us. Sara Lena, whose house we're at right now, Anya, me, Kirsten, Carlisle, Taylor,
Cat.
and is that it?
That's it.
Oh my God, so many. It was so much fun, but there was this video of
Miss Tala.
Oh yeah, Hala we missed too. Of us all we were watching the Casey Anthony show that we all were like on our chat talking about, but we were like, save it for the girls' trip. So we watched that and we're all unsure of if she did it or not, even though I was positive she did. I'm pretty sure she still did, but I do think it was an accident. We don't think she actually killed her. We think there was a pool accident. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but not for this story. And Kirsten noticed that we were all kind of snacking and crunching around the room. We had a bunch of snacks that we got delivered and we were just captivated watching the show. And Kirsten decided to record everyone eating and crunching. And I was watching the footage this morning because she sent it over.
I.
You eat so slow.
I'm here.
You were eating a bag of Skinny Pop. And this those tiny little one serving bags. I've never seen someone eat one piece at a time very slow. And I'm like, I gotta slow the fuck down when I eat.
Are you sure? I thought that was Kirsten.
No, it was. She filmed it, so she wasn't in it.
Oh,
it was you
I was
just slowly.
so
and I was
weird.
like, man, I gotta move slower. If we all ate slower, we'd probably eat less because you would have time to digest. And I sometimes watch you eat your bars and you're just you just have little bites and then you'll set it down. And it's not like you're trying to restrict or be like, I can't have it. I'm just going to have a little bit. You literally just are very slow, like a slow consumer.
Yeah, I am a slow consumer, but those chickpea pops that taste like Fritos are healthy.
Oh, yeah.
I was eating those one at a time because I was sucking off the powder. I wish there were more powder and less
I used to do that with peanuts. I used to eat the shell because I just wanted that. I didn't like the peanut inside. This was before I was even a weird diet girl, this was
strange child.
I was just a weird child that only liked the shells, and I would choke violently in the stands where people would be alarmed because peanut shells, you're not supposed to eat them, and they're so dirty. They were just so salty, and I liked the crunch. And then peanuts, I would be like, ugh, get those out of here.
Yeah, they're so plain.
This girls' weekend trip was amazing. Highlights include
psychic vegan restaurant times.
Oh yeah, okay. So we were supposed to have a psychic come. Anya found the psychic. She was supposed to come. She got the date wrong. We were not a very good psychic. She didn't understand what day. She was like, I thought you meant Wednesday, and it was very clearly Sunday. And we're okay, this. We don't trust her with our futures if she can't handle her own present. So we didn't get a psychic, but then I really recommend doing this with a group of people. So I don't even know how this came about. We were at a dinner, the idea for it. And Anya tore up the menu that was little paper menus that, disposable, tore up 7 pieces. We each got a strip, and then we wrote down something we wanted clarity on in our lives.
Right.
Something we wanted direction with. It could be a word. It could be a sentence. What should I do about something? Or I just need more I just want guidance. And then we crumpled them up and folded them up and put them in a plate. And then we each picked one. And then we like held it in our hands and like swished it around and kind of just closed our eyes. And whatever vision you got, you said, like, I don't know, I'm just sensing the word March. Like I'm sensing a tunnel. I'm seeing a volcano. Like whatever images popped into your head in that moment. And then you open it up and you see like how we could interpret what that vision you get from the energy of the paper, and then we'd get like life direction.
At first we thought this is a ridiculous idea just to make us laugh, and then we started getting freaked out by how accurate it was. Like you wouldn't know if the question was, where will I move? Or, who should I date?
Or should I get a bird?
Right.
Which was mine.
And all of the answers that we were coming up with were identical. Like you had to pick a piece of paper that spoke to you or that you felt a pull toward.
Yes.
And I was holding one and I had no direction at all in my head. I'm like, I'm not going to come up with anything. And then out of nowhere, I was like, March and September are coming to me. And then I opened it up and it was like, where should I move and when?
And it was
when should I move? That's what it was.
Right. So you're going to move to March and September.
Sorry, that was a terrible example.
But I did realize though that this is exactly what happens with psychics and tarot and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really believe this is actually guiding you, but it's like it tells you what you want to, like, we really want to be guided in the direction that you want to go, but sometimes it's hard to admit to yourself what you want. And so interpreting a mysterious clue really helps you in a way that doesn't feel so self-serving, tell you what you really want. Right. So like if I was to say, what am I supposed to do? I need to make a change. What should I do is like my question. And then someone says March. I can go, I'm going to move in March. Or it could be, I'm going to start a women's march. Or it's going to be like, I need to watch March of the Penguins. Or,
right.
You can really make anything out of like, because I was like, should I get a bird? And Sarah Lena for mine had seen a tunnel and sand.
And a vagina.
And eyes and a vagina. And so we were like, you should get a sand bird. The sand is in the forest, in the rainforest. You need a parrot. I'm like, no, I was already planning on getting a parrot. This wasn't about like, do I get a quail or a parrot? I'm going to get a parrot.
We were like tropical birds. Sand.
And I'm like, but you can put sand anywhere. You can just be like, a sandbox is at a school. You should have a child. Like it really is kind of telling you what you want. But it was so fun. Yeah. And it just got the conversation like kind of going in a like, sometimes it's hard for people to like open up about things. I feel like girls' trips for me are always ways for us all to kind of talk about what's on our mind and what might be like really maybe shameful or embarrassing about our situation, or how clueless we all feel, or how like just stuck we all feel. And then one of us reveals it, and then the others are all like, I am either there right now and it seems like I have it all together, or I have been there and it was just so helpful. And we also, Sarah Lena did the coolest surprise for us. We got into town. It was just a quick trip. We went to a gas station, and that was the highlight. We got Big Gulps. Well, that's a different branding, but we got into town, went to lunch. Then but the highlight for me was Sarah Lena had a surprise for us, and she was like, "It's not a big deal. Don't get excited about it." First of all, she got us. So we were going to stay at her new house that we're at right now, right? And she has multiple floors, and we could have just taken over one of the floors or whatever. But she was like, I just feel like, my husband's going to be there. He's going to be on a different floor, and we could totally avoid him. They have like elevators here. She was like, but I kind of want to be away. So she, out of the kindness of her wallet, got us a hotel stay, the suite, these 2 suites that had like adjoining rooms practically at the nicest hotel any of us have ever stayed at. My mom would have had a field day on this, being like, look at this. You might have seen some of the footage on my Instagram story of us playing with the curtains that, you press a button and they open, shooting like Taylor Swift videos.
And everything was very French and like feminine, and you just felt like you were in Paris in 1940.
Yes.
1953.
So nice. It was like the way Graceland felt when we visited Graceland, and everything's preserved in time. It's almost like 50s stuff, but new. And so this place is just gorgeous. Shout out to the Fouquet. If you want to look at how pricey the rooms are, guys, go look at Fouquet. Fouquet.
Fouquet's.
Fouquet's.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll never forget it. And so, but we went out for the day. We got foot massages from Anya as a Christmas gift. It was so nice.
And you went back to the usual spot.
Yes. Four Seasons Foot Spa.
Oh, you have to.
I thought it was the one by the Comedy Cellar.
That's what it's called. Is Four Seasons.
Oh, okay.
I think, or something like that. If you ever go visiting New York, it's on 8th Street and 6th Avenue. It's called Four Seasons.
Tell them Nikki and Anya sent you.
An hour-long foot massage from one of the strongest men in
or women. There's 3.
You just sit in a room and you lay back in a chair and you get your feet pummeled and you make orgasmic sounds and you cover your eyes just like when you come. I realize I have the same reaction to coming that I do that a foot massage. I get embarrassed and I have to cover my eyes.
You're also just as focused and directorial. You're like, that's good. That's actually less. No more. More to the point where you think you're hurting me.
But I'm very giving with oh, that's so good.
Yes.
Oh God, that's good. Oh,
and they love it.
And they laugh so hard at my responses. So then afterwards, Sarah Lynn was like, and I have a surprise. So then we go.
And it's just a cozy, it's silly,
not a big
girls.
deal.
It's
Guys,
not. It's
seriously,
just
don't get
so
that.
good at
cozy
planning
thing.
surprises.
She's so good at planning. It's amazing. So we go back to the hotel. We walk in. First of all, one of the bellhops ruined the surprise because he's like, "Are you guys here for the movie?" And we were like, "Oh." And then Sarah Lynn was like, "He ruined it." And I'm like, "He ruined it 20 seconds before we would have seen it was a movie." So we took an elevator downstairs to the basement level, and there's a cinema there, where they do screenings. I'm sure this place is so nice. It opened 4 months ago. We were probably the first people in this cinema, and we watch.
And it has surround sound.
Surround sound for this movie that didn't
and
even have surround
chairs,
sound.
the kind of lounge
chairs that are beds, that are fainting couches. And we pushed them all together.
We all fainted.
And we all
roofied
seven
each
in a
other.
row, like Madeline, at an orphanage, where all these little beds in a row. And we get to watch Can't Hardly Wait, which was a movie that was a seminal classic for me and all my friends growing up, and informed so much of who we are, and we all have such nostalgia for it. And Anya, who grew up in a slightly different generation, just missed out on it just enough, just the way that I missed out on Heathers or Not Another Teen Movie or
Pump Up the Volume or
the
Reality
Lizzie
Bites.
McGuire movie. Reality Bites. It's just that key moment. So if you graduated high school between 1999 and 2004, you're gonna love Can't Hardly Wait. And but then I loved watching it with you.
Really?
Because you are a cinephile.
Yeah.
A pedophile too. You are pedophilic for cinnamon. You're a cinephile.
Oh my God.
You love cinema. Tchaikovsky and
I don't know, a little bit.
Tarantino. I mean, I don't know. You just know good.
Ethan Hawke.
You've been Spielberg, Michael Bay, and you. But you enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it.
some of
Ethan
those-
Embry is so cute with those big sad eyes. The soundtrack was amazing. Smash Mouth was used 3 or 4
It ain't no
times.
joke.
Jennifer Love Hewitt's boobs are defying gravity. She's in her absolute peak. Of,
Everyone has yellow teeth.
yes,
Everyone has normal colored teeth. Everyone has
No
not
Botox.
veneers, no
Yeah.
Botox. Everyone has those. She's wearing that classic. You remember the shirts that were so popular, that the little spaghetti strap, but it had a built-in bra with
Yes.
it too. No,
Yes.
you remember
Yeah.
those, right?
They sold those on
Those were
Delia's.
great.
Everyone had flyaways, and
Delia's.
Nikki's people would be dying right now if this was
if
filming
you're
now.
on set, flyaways, it's almost as if your nipple is hanging out. How much of they're but she has flyaways. I'm like, so you mean some of my hairs might be around my right now? Feel my head. I just did a photo shoot. Feel
oh
how
my God, what a disgrace.
they pasted my head down because of the dreaded
Your hair
flyaway.
is perfect.
And so, it was just interesting to see. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt was every guy's crush.
Oh my
during the
God.
time. And even mine.
Impossibly beautiful, like a doll come to life, like the tiniest waist, the biggest, tiniest boobs, if that's possible.
That movie is just so well done because the background, everything going on in the background. There's jokes happening in the background. There's constantly people that you're seeing on screen that you're like, that's a person that's in movies now. Like, it was just everyone was in it. Seth Green was so funny.
And it's fun to watch with you because you remember dialogue. You probably haven't seen this movie for a few years at least.
Like at least 10 or 15 years.
Nikki was like calling out the phrases through the whole film. I'm like, how do you know this? You have such an incredible memory.
I have a incredible memory for something I watched literally 100 times. It's Clueless and Can't Hardly Wait for Me were my big ones.
Seth Green was so cute.
But at the end, it was funny because I've talked about it before. I didn't kiss a boy until like so late in high school. It was like junior, senior year, something like that. And all my friends had kissed boys, and I just didn't know how to do it. I thought it was going to be bad, and I studied that movie so much. The kiss at the very end where, spoiler alert, the Ethan Embry and the girl kiss, and she does this thing, if you go back and watch it, and I still do it to this day. When you kiss someone, you kiss, and then a second and a half later, your eyebrows go up like, oh, that was surprised me. Like, you kiss, and then, oh. And it was so funny because I called it out. I go, kiss, eyebrows. And then everyone laughed because they were like, how did you know that was going to happen? I was like, I've studied this extensively. And that is how I kiss to this day. And so then that was so fun. And then we went to dinner.
And she had two bags of snacks ready for us in the theater as a surprise too. And 2 cases of LaCroix.
It was so fun. There were no drugs. There were no drinking. It was just all girl fun.
Good time, pajama fun.
I might have microdosed a little bit, but I don't even think it affected me much. It was awesome girl time. And then Anya and I were fresh from a crazy weekend of shows, which is
oh my God,
so much fun.
Weekend.
So many besties came out. It was so nice to see you all. We were in Waterloo, New York at a casino called Del Lago. And then we were in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which was amazing. Oh my God, Hershey was incredible. And then the final night was at the Borgata in Atlantic City, and we're going to tell you about who I got to hang out with there, which you might have already seen on my Instagram, but there is quite a story that surrounds it. So we'll be back right after this with that story. Okay, we're back. So I was at the Borgata in Atlantic City on Saturday night.
Saturday night.
And I was doing the Music Box Theater, which is the smaller of the 2 venues there at the Borgata. Jerry Seinfeld was in the other one. And I knew about that months before because I remember Chris had some friends in Atlantic City and he was like, they're deciding between Jerry Seinfeld and you, and they picked you. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. And then, so I remembered hearing that, but I forgot about it because I just kind of put that out of my mind because I feel like I don't want to know. I just don't want to know who's in the next room selling more tickets. And also Jerry Seinfeld, I'd be like, go see him instead of me. But people actually came out to see me. He had tickets available and they still chose to came to see me. It was so fun. It was such a good show. And throughout the show, I even referenced that you guys chose me tonight. Fuck Jerry Seinfeld. I was just being joking because obviously I love Jerry Seinfeld, but I was like, fuck Jerry. And I was like, you might want to step out in there and cleanse your palate after these pedophile jokes. Just step into his showroom and just see what he's up to. And I'm like, what if you walk in and he's like, what's the deal with pedophiles? I mean, they're kids. You want to have sex with a kid? I was just doing kind of Jerry doing, I guess I've heard someone actually do a bit of, Tom Takar used to do Dirty Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess I was kind of doing that. But, and so I kept just being like, who needs it? Making jokes about it, but also so reverential because I love Jerry Seinfeld so much. And then we get off stage. I do the meet and greet, which was really fun aside from the guy who, during the show though, I was doing a whole bit about, that I've been doing for years. It's just a bit I've been doing forever. If you come to see me and you're like, I've already seen that bit, just know that it just hasn't been in a special. I might have done it on the road before, but all the stuff I'm doing right now has never been in a special. So if you've heard a joke before, it's because it's been in my act a while. There's this joke that I've never found to put in a special, but it's about how short guys tend to have better personalities than tall guys. And tall guys kind of have the world given to them generally because tall guys, they look like they have more power. So everyone kind of likes them and laughs at everything they say. So they think they're funny, all this, So I do that bit and then I move on to something else. And in the middle of a bit, a guy just walks to the front of the stage, which does not happen ever unless you're at maybe this has happened at comedy clubs, and he sets a shot glass on the stage and is like offering it to me, and I just go, what do you do? What's happening over here? And he's just like, and I go, what is that? And he goes, I think whiskey. And I go, oh, sorry. He doesn't know the drink, but he does know the chemical compound of the pill he put inside of it. He's very sure of that. And I was just and I go, what made you do that? And I'm like, I forget the jokes I was making. I was pretty funny about it, but I was like, thank you so much. Like, never do that again. Like, kind of under my breath, like being, thank you. That's really nice, actually. But you have no self-awareness. And this was a bad choice. And then I go, and also it's just, I go, I couldn't really see him when he walked away because it's kind of far. The room was so fucking big and so full of people. I could barely make it out. But I go, you're tall, aren't you? This is such a fucking tall guy thing to do, of like a hot guy thing to do, because just to interrupt a show and be like, I'm going to give her a shot and she's going to be so grateful. I go, first of all, I don't drink, so thanks for your research. And I've already said that on stage tonight. And secondly, you just interrupted my bit. And it wasn't like I was, I'm not Bert Kreischer. Like, it was just not the vibe. And I kind of trashed him a little bit for it. But
it makes me think of like when guys like ask women to like go out with them on like a Jumbotron. It's like puts them on the spot. It's so uncomfortable for the woman.
Wait, ask them to go out. Like, you mean get engaged?
Get engaged, or just
I would like to go out with you.
Or saying, I like
hilarious. You. Yes.
Or just like, like in like a very public setting. It's just so.
Yes. It's cringe.
If
and it's
this
like
is the guy I think it is, it so checks out.
Do you know? Oh, because did you witness
I
this?
think I met this person at the merch table.
You
and
100%
I got groped.
Yeah, exactly.
His wife tried to chastise him in front of me. I realized immediately she has the full-time job of babysitting her husband.
Yep.
He was so annoying. He kept saying he was going to carry me.
He was
I said, you're not going to carry me. He's like, I'm going to lift you up. I'm going to lift. I'm like, you're not going to lift me up. And then he like groped my
asked to lift
side
me up
boob.
too, and I said no.
And I was like, please get your hands off me.
I already shamed him from the stage, and then at the meet and greet, he asked to lift me up, which I never want, because even though you think I'm light, I have heavy bones, and you were going to make some kind of.
I don't want to be that close to you. P.S.
I think guys
and
like
stop
that,
touching
It's
me.
a power trip.
guys like that get off at women saying no. That's what they want to hear.
Rapist, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
He also was harassing this other couple. I thought they were together, and they were trying to take a photo with me. He's like, all right, I'm going to take the picture of you guys now. Lift her up. Lift Anya up. Lift her up. I'm like, do not lift me up. And the guy's like,
he
I'm
has
not
like
lifting you up. Don't worry.
Carrying fetish. Like he just wanted.
His poor wife. I'm
He
going to
wanted
change his
lift me
name
too.
because I remember
he
his
did
name.
ask, I will say, and sometimes they just like grab you. I mean, this hasn't happened in years. I mean, this was more like the Wild West of comedy clubs where no one knew who you were. I was an opening act. They didn't respect me at all. And now it just rarely happens. But it was nice to have Besties like right behind him, so that when he left, they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, that's fine.
Wow.
Because I know how to kind of handle it now. He just goes, can I lift you up? And I go, no. And he goes, really? Like, first of all, I said no. Don't give me
No
like,
one
a
ever
guilt
tells
trip
me
about
no,
it.
though. I'm 6'4".
Yes, exactly. And I go, I knew you were tall. As soon as he walked up, I go, I knew the guy that brought a shot was fucking tall. And then he, no offense to any tall people listening, you're all kind and I love you. But then he goes, then we take a picture and he kisses my side of my face, but I don't know if he's kissing me or licking it. I thought he was going to lick me because he was such a
I'm
guy.
sorry.
I think he's licking my face, and I make a face like, and I'm just like, get it over with. And
Either option is
these
gross.
are always the times when their cameras don't work, right? And so
Right.
you have to like hold it. And I know you're like, why don't you tell him get the fuck off you? I swear to God, you guys, it is more work than to just get through with it. Like to just, because then his wife, and I was embarrassed for his wife, who was very nice.
Yeah.
And you could tell was like just putting up with her drunk husband who kind of.
She kept being like, Michael. I changed his name, but
Yeah.
full name.
My
Michael.
face, I told him, I was like, please post that, because my face was so funny in it because I was so disgusted. And he was like, oh, this sucks. And I go, no, that's hilarious. Like, you focus on my face and know that this is how most people feel when encountering you. And you're going to start getting older and you're going to lose your fucking looks. And then what are you going to have?
The sad part is he will never have any self-awareness about it. Even after he listens to this, he'll probably have a weird, like,
Boner for it.
Yeah, I was trying to censor myself, but yeah, half chub for this whole story. I'll be like, yes, success.
Yeah.
That's the problem with sociopaths. They like it.
They do like
True.
it. And he did, because if I were him and I brought a shot on stage thinking it would be a funny thing, because I've been that person before where I just don't read the room right. And then you get a little bit shamed. I didn't shame him mercilessly because I'm grateful. He just made he made an error in thinking that's the right time. He's maybe with just freshly from a Bert Kreischer show where that's okay and actually like invited. So I trashed him a little bit, but I was also like, thank you for coming. No big deal. Thank you for the shot. That was nice to think of, But then if that happened to me, I would skip the meet and greet because I would be so embarrassed that she knows I'm that guy. But I tell you,
apologize.
10 out of 10 times when someone is an embarrassing person, a guy in the crowd, and does something that the whole crowd feels cringe for them, they will come to the meet and greet and they'll be like, I was the guy that did that. And I go, I know you are because I studied your face to use it for a sketch artist when you eventually rape me someday. I studied your face so I can give it to a police sketch artist. But it's just a certain type of person, but it is a rare person. Anyway, after the show, I get done with that meet and greet. I wash my hands. I cleanse my palate and I'm getting ready to sit down and eat my dinner that was delicious, and I was so excited because I had been done with 3 shows, 3 meet and greets, which is really 6 shows. And just to be clear,
one night?
I love the meet and greets. No, this is over in 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was just and we drove in between each show. It was a lot of work for me, Anya, and Matt, my tour manager, Matt Pond. And so we were all just kind of and Bobby J. Cox was also who you've heard on the podcast. He was also there. So we're all backstage. Oh, and before the show, Matt said something to me, right?
About Jerry?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, would you like Nikki? Would you have any interest in meeting Jerry today? Because he's just down the way. If you want, we can set that up.
Yeah, he was like, do you want me to inquire about it?
Yeah.
And I was like, God, no. No, he doesn't need to meet me. I don't want to bother him. Of course I would love to meet Jerry Seinfeld, but I have met Jerry before. I was on Inside Amy Schumer, and we did a sketch called 80s Ladies. And at the end of it, Jerry comes in, and we I get to latch arms with him and watch on the street. I met him briefly that day. It was very cold outside. It was a quick shoot. It was cool to be on camera with him, but we didn't have an interaction. I knew his wife from hanging out at Amy's house. His wife, Jess, and Amy are friends, and I really love Jess, and we were Instagram friends for a while, and we haven't talked in years, but I liked her. But I don't know. I got the sense about Jerry from watching Comedians in Cars. First of all, I think I was a little bit bitter. I wanted to be on that show. Not that I should have been on that show, but I wish it was still around so that when I was famous enough, I could have been on it. So I was always kind of I'm almost there were a couple comics on it that I was like, oh, I could be on this show, and I think I was just I want to be on the show. And from watching Comedian, the documentary, and just being a huge Jerry Seinfeld fan, I thought I knew what he was like. And he's very serious about comedy. He's going to want to talk bits. I might not have any. And he's not going to be a fan of my comedy. He does clean comedy. He's very meticulous about word choice. And just, he has the style that I wish I could have. And that I don't know. I don't have the discipline or whatever. And I just revere him. He's an advocate of transcendental meditation. He's just smart and cool, and he's the kind of comic I wish I could be in terms of work ethic and stuff, and clean and accessible and all those things. And then I'm backstage about to sit down, about to take a bite of my cauliflower. And I'm like, ah. And then Matt comes back and is like,
Nikki, Jerry would like to see you.
And I was just like, okay. I didn't even freak out. I was like, yep, that's happening. And I knew exactly what it meant. I was like, I have been summoned. Jerry wants to meet me. I think I might have said he asked for me, and he's like, yes. And so it was go time. And Matt was like, I think Anya should go, you should have one person go with you if you want. And I was like, absolutely. Anya starts getting ready. I'm like, Anya and I are going. She's the perfect wingman for a situation where, she's not going to fangirl out too hard. She's not going to embarrass herself. She is cool around celebrities. And so she comes with me, and we get walked through the bowels of the Atlantic City Casino to the other side of the place where Jerry has just performed. And I don't know what to expect, at all. I just think he's being cordial to the other comedian that's performing there.
We had no idea.
But on the way there, the security guard did say he never does this. And he comes through Atlantic City a lot. And he's like, he's never done this with the other comic performing. And I'm like, he's like, and all the times he's never done this. And I was like,
Jerry never does this. I don't know.
That's
So
the
just
word on
telling
the
you,
street.
Jerry never does this.
I was like, all right. And so we
Oh my
walk
God, I'm getting
up.
goosebumps
I know,
again. That
I
night,
know.
we could not stop getting goosebumps.
It was
And
unreal.
we're both pretty we're not starstruck people.
No, like I'm pretty chill.
Like we've met a lot of
I
people.
was nervous to meet Jerry though because
We were both like
I'm a big
clickety
Seinfeld
clack
fan.
down the hall, like click, 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 click in our high heels.
And
like,
you were just playing that Seinfeld trivia game on your Instagram.
yes,
I know.
which is so weird because the night
like,
before in
manifested
Hershey,
it.
one of my fans, Innocence, brought me a fun trivia card game of Seinfeld trivia, and I was nailing it. And like I would realize I'm a fucking good Seinfeld fan. Like it is, I still retain a lot of that obsessive knowledge from middle school, high school, and that show. I put it on all the time. It still holds up. It's the best, and as you all know. And so then we approach, and I guess it's the last dressing room, and I kind of know it's his, and I just hear, "Is she here? Is she here?" And I walk in, and he's already walking up to the front of the door to greet us, and he is, even before I get in, he embraces me, and he's like, I think I blacked out, but he says something like, "I am a huge fan. I love you. You are so funny. I have watched everything you do. You are so," he goes, and I was like, I literally said this to him. I go, "Are you doing an impression of what I should be saying to you?" Like, I said that to him. I go, "This is all the same stuff." I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "You're Jerry Seinfeld." I was like, "You don't know what you mean to me. Thank you so much for everything. Like, I love you." And I started kind of tearing up because he was just saying, he was like a true fan of mine. Like,
I thought they were doing a bit. I thought it was a put on because all I heard, I'm behind Nikki as we're entering this tiny little green room that they're all in. He's there with his two openers, and all I hear is, "I love you. I love you. I can't believe you. I love that this is happening. I love that this is happening." And I'm like, oh, this is a joke. Like they're just being big on purpose. And then I realized this is real. They've really, truly never met like this before. And they're both freaking out. He was like, what was your first impression? Because I had like a couple.
hot.
Yeah.
He was like,
He is
not first
so
impression,
hot.
He is hot.
It's insane. And
he
he's
looked
also
a lot like Chris to me. Like he looked like the way my boyfriend is going to age. And like, I wouldn't have thought Jerry Seinfeld would like give this aura of like hotness. Like I've never, like, no offense
So
to Jerry
trim.
Seinfeld, but he's always been cool and definitely like a catch on his show. He's always like the guy that was dating like the cool girl. And he's like, and he has like a hot wife. I mean, he does well for himself. I should have assumed he would be this way in person, but he was like fit and had good posture, but like not too bulky, not too thin, like perfect 60-something-year-old man bod.
Yeah.
Like perfect, like hot.
silver fox, like
Great hair.
salt and peppery.
Great jawline. Like he really did. Afterwards I texted Chris, and I think Chris was probably rolling his eyes like, you can just say Jerry's hot. You don't have to compare him to me. But I was like, you literally, he
did have a conby.
He did. He
thing.
was so cute. And my first impression really was like, I didn't know how animated and enthusiastic and giving and like how much he laughs and gives and is like so upbeat, so energetic. Like I thought he would just be like, I mean, this guy's been around for fucking ever. He is the GOAT. Like he has no reason to have any enthusiasm. He could be whatever he wants to be. He could be very jaded. But he was like a true fan of mine. And my walk away from the whole thing, he invited us to sit down. He goes, "What do you want? Do you want a sub? Do you want a drink? What do you want? What? We have everything." And he introduced us to his openers, Mario, and what was the other guy's name? I forget, but they
Robert,
were so cute
I
too.
think.
They were handsome men. And we just sat around and talked for like 25 minutes.
What do you talk
probably.
to Jerry Seinfeld about? And who is the one who's like guiding the conversation?
Okay, so what we talked about.
He, first of all, was like, "I just want you to know, I've seen all your YouTubes."
so nice.
He goes, "I've seen everything you've done. I know everything about you. I've watched all of your stuff on YouTube. I know everything." Because she was, at one point, she was like, "So I moved back to St. Louis." He's like, "Oh, I already know that."
He goes, because I was telling his openers, because they go, "Where are you from?" And Mario asked, and I go, they go, "Where do you live?" And I go, "I live in St. Louis." And I looked at Jerry, because usually people are shocked when they hear that I live in St. And I looked at Jerry like, "It's true." And he goes, "Oh, I know. You think I don't know that about you?"
watched
I've
Welcome Home,
watched
Nikki
all the
Glaser.
things.
yeah, I know. I'm like, did he? But so I will say one thing that was really interesting, and this will be good to Seinfeld fans, is he was like talking about, I forget how we got on the subject of it, but I said, I told him, "Listen, I know, I know he hears about how great Seinfeld is all day long, but I just had to tell him, I was like, I have to say Seinfeld made me who I am in 8th grade, which is one of the coolest things that ever happened to me. My algebra teacher, Gay King was his name. It was the best algebra teacher name for 8th graders. Gay King was his name, Mr. King. Mr. King gave me the weekend. I was supposed to take a test on Friday. And Thursday night before the test was the finale of Seinfeld. And he knew how much it meant to me that I would not be able to study that night. So he let me take the test on Monday. And I've never heard of anything like that before or since. And I just felt so seen. I thought, like, this is like, it was almost like no one's ever given me that kind of like leeway for even if my grandma died. But this was because the Seinfeld finale, like, he took it seriously. And I don't even know if he was a Seinfeld fan, but I told Jerry that and he goes, well, I'm sorry we disappointed you with the finale. Because the finale is classically like panned by Seinfeld fans, except me. Thank God, because I've always loved the finale. I thought it had to be different than a regular Seinfeld episode. And I said, you know what? I actually, like, my favorite thing about the finale was the montage and the song. And he goes, had the time of your life, Green Day. And I was like, it's the best song to choose. And that is now used in so many montages. I hope you had the time of your life. But at the time, I think it was the first one that they used that. And it made me cry. It's the best montage. And he was like, thank you. I chose that song. Like, he was very proud of his choice of that. And then he was talking about the finale and how, and I go, if you don't remember the Seinfeld finale, they all kind of go on trial for like making fun of this fat guy as he's like, they were like making fun of someone as he's robbed, and they get on trial for like, he gets robbed. It's like, they're really mean. And then they go on trial and they all go to jail pretty much, and they're punished at the end. And he said, I regret that because I did that because I was listening to critics. I was listening to people say that these people are bad people. They're mean people. And I was like, well, then if everyone thinks that way about them, they need their comeuppance. And that's what he wanted to do with that episode, was show that, like, it's not okay to be a bad person, a selfish person. And he goes, but they weren't bad people. I look back on it and I let critics convince me that they were bad people. They weren't bad people. Everyone's selfish. Comedy is
he goes,
selfish.
they were people.
They were people. And he regretted that. And then he also, though, said, as much as he wished he wouldn't have listened to the critics, he said, I forget who he quoted. It was someone.
Oh, that's right.
It was some artist he had quoted saying, like, there's no idiot whose advice I can't benefit from. Every idiot has something that you can hear. Like, every YouTube comment, there's something to be gleaned that you can take as feedback as an artist. And I liked that because I hate when people are like, get mad at the audience. My biggest pet peeve, as you probably know, is like when comedians are on stage and they tell a joke and they're like, oh, you guys just don't get that? This crowd fucking sucks. And they get mad at the crowd. I'm like, no, you suck. The crowd, there have been shitty crowds for sure that are just dumb or they're not listening. But you are an art. You need to adjust. You need either go to their level or like acknowledge that this room is full of drunk people or acknowledge that this room is full of people talking. You need to figure out a way. Like,
yes,
it might be hard. It might be impossible. But like, blaming the crowd is so lame to me. And so I liked hearing that because even when people go, you don't need to listen to that person's opinion about you. Stop reading the comments, which I don't read anymore because they just hurt me too much. But I do think that, you know, we're trying to entertain the masses.
So
like,
some feedback can be helpful.
even if it's like, you're a fat slut and all women should die. I'm like, okay, well, I do dye my hair. Maybe I can take, you did spell dye wrong and unintentionally.
But he was saying he was working on a new film and that he was asking for all kinds of feedback from all kinds of folks. And he didn't necessarily love the feedback the network was giving him, but he was like, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to be open-minded. Maybe they're right.
That's so cool because I always thought of him as like such a lone wolf. Like he knows how to do his own set and he doesn't take advice from anyone else, which is still true because I said, this is interesting, Jerry, because I've been thinking about my stand-up set and how I approach my roasts have always been the thing that everyone applauds me for the most, like my roasts. And there's a part of me that doesn't feel like I can take credit for it because it was such a process that I invited other writers into, other comedians, and I had a lot of help on roasts. Even though I wrote many, if not most of the jokes, I got a lot of help. And for some reason I go, and I don't know why I don't do the same thing with my stand-up. Like, why am I not getting help from people? And he goes, no, your stand-up is you. No, you're doing everything right. You don't need, he goes, for example, I'm working on this bit about playing poker and how I don't care about it was some, very early bit that he's working on. And he goes, no one's gonna be able to tag that up for me, or tag being a joke on after a punchline. He's like, no one knows. That's in my head. That's my own. No one can help me with that. And so he was very, very full of juxtaposition of listen to people, but also do your own thing. But the one thing I will always try to remember is that he said, at one point I was talking and telling a story, and he looked at his friends and he goes, her voice. Even the way she talks is funny. She has a voice. What did he say?
She has the comedy voice.
She's got the comedy voice. And I was just like,
the best was when he christened you a Jew.
Oh yeah. And he goes,
Yay.
are you Jewish? And I go, no, I'm sorry. And he was like, you're sorry? He was like laughing, and he was like, you're not? He goes, you are. You are. And I go, thank you.
Yeah, you go, I wish I were. And he goes, Glaser. And you go, I know. And people always think that. And he goes, you are.
But you are. And I go, okay, then I am. I said, that's how you know if you're Jewish. You're Jewish because if your mom is Jewish, you're Jewish. Or Jerry Seinfeld says you're Jewish. Those are the two ways. And so I'm Jewish. Everyone.
It was such an amazing thing to just be in the room for that, because I'm pretty unflappable, and my eyes teared up several times. And I was like, why am I crying right now? I was looking at the carpet, pull it together, Anya. No one could tell, but I was just going, wow, this man has touched all of our lives so much. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David, Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Veep. So many things I love in my life are due to
Kramer
this
at the
man.
Laugh Factory. I mean, everything. No, it's been so culturally impacted, maybe more so than anyone you can think of, in terms of how influential he's been.
And he was so ebullient. You do think he's going to be jaded, but he was just so full of joy, and he had the most smiley eyes. Oh. And he was just staring at Nikki, smiling 100% joy the whole time.
But I really I know great people have said I'm funny before. Conan says I'm funny. All my heroes say I'm funny. And you guys know, as my besties, that I doubt that sometimes, and I think I'm tricking people, or I'm I figured it out, but it's not real. For some reason, I'm gonna remember the way he said that. If he, I can't question Jerry Seinfeld. Not that I can question Conan either, but sometimes I'm Conan's just being nice. And yeah, I've done well on his show, but I don't know. I just sometimes I gotta just remember that for some reason Jerry really got through to me of no, he's a legitimate fan of mine and wants to hear what I have to say. And it was and he was you should have been in my movie. We should have put her in my movie. God damn. He was so mad. And then Anya's then you guys need to work together. Yeah. Anya's being my agent. She's you need to put her in something. You guys, Anya need to do something.
I didn't know awesome. Comedians in Cars is over. Is it?
I feel he would have said something had it not been over.
I've seen every single one, and I would love to see you guys do it.
But then Anya's just I'm this is my opener. They don't even know if she does music. They're not really. It was so fast when we were all introing that it was unclear. And then we have a friend in common, Ryan Hamilton, and we were talking about his new stand-up, and Anya's it's this great 20 minutes about this accident he had and all this stuff, and Jerry's we should produce it. You and I, we're going to produce it. So he and Anya made a deal that night. And he even said, I know this sounds just this Hollywood, we're not going to do it, but we're doing this. And then so Anya and I went and saw Ryan Hamilton's set last night. And I feel we're going to get the wheels in motion on this.
We are. It's so good.
It was so fun. It was
I'm still pinching myself.
What did your parents say?
I haven't, you know what? I texted them just the picture. I was you're never going to believe it. And then they just hearted it. I haven't talked to them yet because I've been on this girls trip, but I did say he's a huge fan of mine. Take how much you think he would be excited to see me in your wildest dreams and multiply it by 100, because it literally was I'm not joking you. I never would have thought that Jerry Seinfeld would be that excited to meet me. I literally said to him, "Are you doing an impression of how excited I should be?" It felt like the way that I was trying to suppress like the version of myself that is totally unbridled happiness and excitement was the way he was. I was kind of like, take it easy, fangirl. Like it was that much. It was awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for your parents to hear. That was definitely one of the highlights of the year. For sure.
It really was. And
also the weirdest thing is we were playing a manifestation game with the girls chain, like play the game of in your wildest dreams, let's say a phone call happens, you pick up the phone, what is the great news on the other end? And we were all making lists. And one thing on my list, this is a month ago, I was like, I want to produce a comedy special or work with a comedian. Would love if it's Nikki, but any, like I would love to work more closely with comedians in terms of like working on a special.
You said produce a comedy special.
Yeah, and I was thinking,
and I
Ryan's.
was like, well, I've never heard this dream. What's going on here? And then all of a sudden, Jerry's like, we're producing it. And
Well, I told Jerry, I go, I want Ryan to do this, but he keeps saying he's going to shelve it. And I want to produce it. And he goes, you should produce it. And I go,
Why not?
yeah. And
Yeah,
then he
he goes,
goes,
"Why not?"
I'll do it with you. I'm like, this is a joke. I'm telling
this
you.
really happened.
Not a
That's
joke.
wild.
So there's a plug for speaking your dreams into existence.
I'm telling you, I talked about it last week on the podcast about doing mantras, and I got a lot of feedback from Besties about my new mantra of I approve of myself. I approve of myself. And I was doing it this morning because I was on my way to a shoot and I was feeling like just chalky skin and like kind of just bloated from too much like food last night, late at night. And I was just feeling like, warning, White Lotus spoiler alert ahead. White Lotus spoiler alert ahead. If you have not watched the finale of White Lotus season 2, please skip ahead at least 2 minutes. It may be more than that. I am sorry if it is. Warning. White Lotus spoiler alert commencing now. Jennifer Coolidge, when she fell off that yacht and just was floating in that ocean, I just felt really confused and puffy and, just betrayed. And I was like, I approve of myself. Guys, spoiler alert, I do a great Jennifer Coolidge. I realized this weekend.
Spoiler
I did
alert
not
now?
know. Oh, yeah, by the way, I just gave away the ending of White Lotus. Oh, fuck. Wait, let me do this for
Can
an
you do it
insert.
underwater? I approve of myself.
Approve of myself. Oh wow, this ocean is beautiful under here.
I was so sad. But White Lotus, if you guys haven't seen the finale, I'm sorry to spoil it. We'll do an insert of a spoiler alert for that because that one's really important. But yeah, I can do we were working on impressions this weekend, and my Jennifer Coolidge is like, have you been watching White Lotus, Noah? No, you have not. I think most of the nation has watched it. I think it's like the new
I just
moon
love your
landing.
non sequiturs about like being hungry or not. Like, I've lost my appetite now.
Now I'm hungry. That fish looks good. Oh man, why did I have to die? I wanted to be in the next season. Oh God.
But it's a little off. I need to watch it again.
No,
White
that
Lotus
was really
is so good. And I know people who haven't seen it yet are probably like, stop talking about it. And people who have seen it are like wanting to hear more about it. Even this morning with my makeup artist, I was like, I'm still like recovering from White Lotus. Like can I just say my final thoughts about White Lotus
Please.
finale?
Do it.
And Noah, do you care if I spoil it for you?
No, I don't care.
You promise?
Yeah, because like for me, it's watching the whole thing. It's not just like the ending that counts. You know what I mean? So I don't care about spoiler
Okay,
alerts.
well, let me just talk in code then. What happens at the end of White Lotus, it's a great ending. Everything I agree with. I agree with the couples all getting together at the end through that fucked up web of betrayal. I loved that. I loved the deception from the sex workers. I love that whole thing. Like, they not only deceived the guys, but they deceived us as viewers with the Eliseo character. I thought it was brilliant. But someone didn't need to die. That didn't need to happen. I love how I'm talking in code. What happened before that person died was enough of a cool thing. We didn't need to see that person die. It was like, it didn't give us anything. It was enough of an ending for her to have that to get the bag and go in the room, and then the guys come up, and that whole thing that happened, that was enough of, and for her to just, they could have panned out for her on the boat just being like, oh God, and you could have just seen her like worried and like what's gonna happen, and you know she's gonna be safe, and that she's gonna have a lot of explaining to do, but that, and they could have left something so that you know she's going to have a trail where she can get, she's not going to be found guilty, but where she's going to be able to have proof that they were going to kill her,
I'll tell you why I think that happened.
Why?
Because I think that we need to have no hope. That's what this show is saying.
I think that it's a cynical view of love and life on purpose in a big way. I think it's exaggerated cynicism. And that's why we lose the person we love the most.
I don't hate Cameron and Daphne's relationship, I have to say.
I know.
As someone who's like, I don't like the lying because they both do lie to each other, but if they both were honest with each other, that they both
They're having a good time. But she did have tears in her eyes when she found out
if
about
she doesn't
a new
win
betrayal.
a Best Actress for that betrayal, the nuance of her sadness plus
she's so
her
good.
like, I'm okay. So I read some synopsis of it, and it was like, we see her get over the betrayal of an affair in 0.5 seconds.
Yes,
we
I'm
see
getting
her
goosebumps.
process like the hurt and then shake it off, and you just see that this woman has had to do it so many times
Yes.
that the half-life is now milliseconds for her to get over it, and it's just, I mean,
It's like Elizabeth
an incredible
Moss
show.
level acting, because Elizabeth Moss used to say so much with just her eyes on Mad Men, on Handmaid's Tale. She can do like a
it's the gift of
rainbow of
Scientology.
emotions.
All right, we're going to go to break and come back with a new segment after this. And we're back. Just a reminder that my tour, the Good Girl Tour, is ongoing, and we have 3 dates left for the rest of the year. This weekend, it's Oklahoma City on Friday, Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday, and then on December 31st, New Year's Eve, special St. Louis show. So those tickets are available. Meet and greets are always available at the merch booth, as well as tons of new merch that I wish I could wear myself, but it has my face on it, so it's kind of weird, but it's so cute. I almost wish it wasn't so cute because I'm jealous and I want it on my body.
You can get away with the navy for sure.
You think?
Yeah.
It's not too obvious?
It's kind of Warhol-esque.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the Navy one is so good. All of them are good. And Anya will be there and with special guests all the time. Not sure who exactly now, but yeah. Oh, wait, Tim Convey actually is going to be on the New Year's Eve show, and Anya as well. And so I hope to see you guys there. And let's get to our new segment that we have. Noah came up with a great idea. It is where we go back in time and review a headline from the past and kind of talk about the headline itself, but also like where we were when this thing happened. It's a chance for us just to go back in time a little bit. So let's get to old news.
It's old news.
It's old. That was recorded this weekend by on the girls trip.
That sounds so good.
It was great. Well done, Noah. Okay, Noah, what is the old news that you have for us
so
today?
the old news headline goes back to 2013. Nikki and Sara of MTV's Nikki and Sara Live choose 2 fans of the show to take over their hosting duties, and they surprise them with a One Direction interview. And now I want to share this because it's important, because what was going on in the news is it was just upon the Harry Styles and Taylor Swift breakup. And I want everyone to see what happens next.
Did you guys have any idea?
No!
What did you have in the headphone?
Well, it was Taylor Swift.
You're gonna roll up.
You want to ask one of these questions?
Okay, so you're surprising
Wow.
these
So
fans.
What did she say about Taylor Swift? What was the question that led to that?
So Harry Styles asks, what were you guys listening to the headphones on the way over? Because the girls were blindfolded.
Yes, so we had them listening to headphones.
They had
and
no idea
blindfolded.
that they were going to be interviewing One Direction.
There's so much of a story behind this. Okay.
So as I was going down this rabbit hole, I realized that the girl who said she was listening to Taylor Swift right as like it was right after the breakup. Oh, hold on, I just want to show you this photo
of Harry and Taylor. Yeah. And
Yes.
she's saying this to Harry Styles.
She's saying it to Harry Styles, and I just want you to look a freeze frame of the reaction of the band.
Does she know that they broke up?
Yeah. I think she was just telling the truth.
Look at their faces when she said that she was listening to Taylor Swift.
They all know. They're like, oh shit.
They loved it.
Me. So when I was at the People's Choice Award, Olivia Wilde was there, and her and Harry just broke up, right?
I did not know that.
They broke
that's
up.
right. Olivia Wilde. Yeah.
I didn't know Olivia Wilde was going to be there. And backstage, they were doing like these photo shoots, like with these really nice photographers. And during the photo shoot, they had music on, and they were playing like As It Was. And she was like backstage, and I'm like, tell someone to turn that off. Like, I mean,
because it's her ex's ex.
yeah, like that kind of sucks for her or for like anyone, like even Jason Sudeikis having to hear Harry Styles like everywhere he goes.
Right.
It's like a thing. But okay, so that Nikki and Sara thing, how it came about was like, I think we found out we were going to have 5 minutes with One Direction. And we're like, that's how this idea starts. We go, what are we going to do with that 5 minutes? Like of all the things we can do, we could interview them. It's kind of like a press tour where they kind of sit in and then different, people come into the room and just interview them for 5 minutes and then you're ushered out. And we were like, oh, it would be a good idea if we found the biggest One Direction fans and blindfolded them and somehow took off the blindfolds and there's One Direction sitting there. So we convinced these girls that they were going to interview Kesha, which they were excited about, but like not huge. Like
right.
One Direction was their lives. They like ran One Direction fan pages and all these things. So we blindfolded these girls and we thought they were going to like fucking lose their minds. But they were like quiet and like just like
shocked.
And like it wasn't great TV. Like we thought it was gonna be like fucking insane. Like they were gonna cry and like all the things. But they were kind of just like, hi. And we were like, do you want to ask them some questions? But they didn't have any questions prepared because they had like thought they were gonna interview Kesha.
Yeah.
So they're like, asking her about her, how she does her hair, whatever. It was like, but it was just how TV can kind of like betray you sometimes where you're like, this is going to be the best. And then they were just so nervous and they were so sweet and everything.
Did you know though?
The one thing I remember from that.
Oh, sorry. Before you get to
what
that.
did I know what?
So apparently 2 years ago, the girl who said Taylor Swift went on TikTok and she kind of made this moment viral. I couldn't find it. So if anyone does have it, I'd love to see it.
I think I remember this. Like Catherine is her name, and I really liked her. We followed each other for a while after that, and I loved those little girls. They were so sweet, and they put up with so much that day because it was they had to be blindfolded for like so long. We drove them around. It was all just like it sucked for them.
She said she
didn't,
didn't,
and then obviously it did suck.
Yeah, she didn't do it on purpose. It was just like the truth had just come out, apparently. The two things
about
didn't
the Taylor Swift
line
thing,
up.
like
yeah.
Yeah, because they asked, what are you listening to on those headphones? And we had just gotten into, Red had just come out, I think. And so they were definitely listening to that. But that was like, because we did a lot of surprises on that show. Like we thought another time, we always use Kesha as the thing. Like another time, because Kesha was our first guest on the show. Another time, Sara and I went to Vegas because we thought we were interviewing Kesha. And we were like, we don't need to. We've already interviewed her. What is going on here? So we flew to Vegas and we're like, what is this? And we're sitting there waiting for Kesha. She's late. And then all of a sudden, Justin Timberlake walks in. And he was like the reason we got that TV show because we created a viral video in 2011 or 12 about Justin Timberlake like begging him to come back to music. And that was the reason we even got the MTV show. And so our show was like based on surprises, but it was just, it was like, I remember everyone was just like, oh man, like they just didn't react the way we wanted them to. But I mean, I don't know why we didn't see that coming. I would have freaked. Yeah. Like, I would have been so like, just if they did that to me with Taylor Swift and these girls, but I will say the thing I took away, because they were little boys. I was like 27 or 8. I was 27 at the time. And they're just children to me.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at Harry Styles and being like,
he cute.
Oh my God, I get it. Like, just gorgeous. And I never felt that way where you see someone in person, you go, except Jerry Seinfeld, but like where you just go, whoa, this kid is special. And so,
didn't you also interview Ariana Grande?
Yeah, she did a segment with us too. That was awesome. She was so funny. She was particular about having one side of her face showing and not the other. She definitely had a good side. It was the first time I'd ever seen that, but she wasn't rude about it. She was so funny too. We had Ariana Grande fire people on our show. It's a really funny segment. And so we have her like, just like, Brian, you make too much fish in the microwave. You have to go now. And Sarah and I are just sitting there like, sorry, Ariana Grande. And it's like, this is the nicest way we can let you go. And it was just beautiful. And she was so funny and down. Like, we did a lot of fun stuff on that show.
I know. I love the nude onesies.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I ever did something where I was like embarrassed, like where I like showed my body a lot. We like put on these nude onesies and we went to a lingerie convention and just put on lingerie. It was the easiest way to try on lingerie.
Funny.
And we looked naked. I mean, it was like, and Sarah was older than me, so she was a lot more comfortable with her body and like just being more physically out there. And I'm more of like, I'm a comedian, I say words. So it was like a very, it was a test of my like comfort. And we did that show live, which was so insane.
I know. It was so good. Your news segments were so funny and
fun real.
Yeah. Yes. Fun Real was a segment that Emmy Blotnick, who is an amazing comedian, came up with, where we would just ask two really fun questions like, favorite color, red or green? What's your favorite animal, whale or sharks? Or we go like red or green. They'd be green. Whale or sharks? Sharks. Why do you think I'll die alone? And then just put the micro, and then they just are like, what? Like, it was just, that was so fun. It was called Fun Real. Yeah, that was a good show. And we got 2 seasons of it. Like, most of my shows, if we're counting, I've never gone past 2 seasons, including F-Boy. We're going to go somewhere else.
including boyfriends.
Honestly. That's so true.
I mean, you're almost on season 2.
Sarah got 2 seasons.
We're up to 24 months. I'm out.
This podcast is probably the long. Sirius was like a long run for me. Well, that's like, I was talking about buying a house, or so, like last night we were looking at property around here, and I was like, maybe I could do it. And Jesus Christ, it's so much money. Like, after you do property tax and HOA fees.
After you do property tax.
After you do all the property tax and you look at the HOA fees and you just think of me, I got to tip the doorman at Christmas, and you factor all in that, and it's maybe not even worth it.
It's like,
In 2013, were you and Anya friends? Were you living together yet?
we were living together.
Yeah, we lived together. I remember Nikki's. So that's where I was when that story broke.
Yes.
Probably sitting in the kitchen ordering Chinese from the guy down the street who would knock on the door and then give me my plastic bag and
And
go,
he'd say,
Have enjoy.
have enjoy, which is like such a sweet
have enjoy
thing to say.
I love him.
So I got the pilot for Nikki and Sara in 2012. We were going to film it, January 2012. And it was...
Really?
Yeah, it got picked up to film in 2011. So it was like maybe... It was like August of 2011, we found out, okay, we're going to film this pilot in January. And we were starting to put together a staff. And then it was like 2 months later that I was like, I got to quit drinking. So I quit drinking in November or December of 2011 because I was like, I can't fuck up this. Like, I can't be hungover making this show. And so that's how I always kind of remember it. And then we taped the pilot in January. And then we were told we had to tape another, then we taped another pilot in April because they weren't satisfied with that. Then we got picked up in September, and then we didn't air until January of 2013. And then we got canceled, I think, November 2013. So we did 2 seasons in 1 year. And then by 2014, it was like, what am I going to do? But I moved in with Anya 2012.
Yeah,
right?
October.
2012?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I did the pilot when I was still living in that fucking terrible place. And then, the whole time I made the show, I was living
What
with
terrible
Anya.
place?
In Astoria that I lived with that girl.
really?
And then
So
on
that's where you met-
Craigslist. Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. But that really marked I always told my parents when I got into comedy, like, give me till I'm 28. That was always, 27. I said, give me 27 is when I'm going to make it. Like, just until then, have my back. And they, and I'm just lucky. They definitely bailed me out financially, and I've paid them back since then. But like, I wouldn't have been able to do it if I wasn't, like, my parents didn't help me out financially here and there. So I realize that I'm lucky and privileged in that way. A lot of people don't have. But I remember I got the show. The pilot got picked up. Oh, I remember. It was like May 31st of the eve. I was about to turn 28, and the last day that I was 27 was the day that our pilot got picked up, or that we got our pilot picked up. So it must have been, it was May 31st, and then by January, so it was May 31st, 2011. Would that have been 27 years old? Yeah. And And that was when I was like, and it was just under the wire where I was like, okay, now I have like a paycheck coming in. It was awesome.
Speak it into existence. You did.
I approve of myself. 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 Greg proofs of myself. Like it just starts to sound like nothing. But yeah, a lot of besties wrote me and were like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're getting into mantras. Do you ever do those?
Yeah, I haven't done one in a while, but for a while, I was doing, I am a seductive and feminine being or something like that. Because someone told me like, you're not in touch with your sexuality. This is like 3 years ago. And I was like, maybe I'm not. I'm always wearing like chunky boots and
boy jeans.
And it was so uncomfortable to say that.
I'm just describing your outfit.
I'm right back to my old fashioned sensibility. But yeah, I worked on that.
Struggle with that. That's a good one.
I'm a sensual and sexual being.
I got to start trying that one. It really works. Final thought.
Money comes to me easily and swiftly. Good things come to me easily and swiftly. I do that one a lot.
Good things come to me easily and swiftly. I like the word swift in there. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I want to manifest next. Because even like if I were to be like, I want to produce a special, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of work. Like I want to do something that doesn't
I like doing it in the present tense. Like I am producing a special that I love with people I love.
Well, that's just delusional because you're not. But no, I like to do things that actually are true too. Like I approve of myself. Like even if I don't, well, I guess that's true because I don't when I'm saying it. So yeah, you're right. You can.
The only reason is to conjure up the feeling of what it would feel like to do it, and then they're like, "Oh, that's how people who are fill in the blank feel." Like if you're a billionaire, how would a billionaire feel? Like I have ample money for the rest of my life for myself and my family.
I approve of myself. It really just, for some reason, the Louise Hay recording, like that really struck me because it's like, if you have that, you have everything. No matter, because you can be anything. You can look any way. You can have any amount of money.
Yeah.
And if you approve of yourself, it's okay. And so that one really like,
I love that.
Helps me. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. And so that's a good one to just say to yourself in the back of an Uber over and over and over. And your score will also go down in that Uber, but that's okay. But I have to go because I am actually going to go get a shot into my clitoris. I'm going to that place called the V-Spot. So at Atlantic City at the meet and greet, there was this doctor that was in line and she was like, have you been to the V-Spot? And I was like, I think I have actually, because another woman back in the serious days offered it to me. And they do a thing called PRP, where they like extract your blood, they spin it around a machine, and then they put it back into you, and it's supposed to like, I don't know what it does.
Enhance your clitoral experience?
Yeah.
Your orgasms?
It's going to wake me up down there, even though, thank you, Seinfeld, like, I feel alive. That hit me too. No, like, and Theo James, White Lotus. They're just gonna put me in a room and make me watch close-ups of his face. But I'm going to get that done. I'm kind of like not feeling like doing it, to be honest with you, because I'm like, I just kind of want to take a nap.
Yeah,
and I have to go get a fucking needle put into my clit. And I've been talking about on stage about how like, guys don't like, I hate to do jokes about like, guys, you don't know where the clitoris is. But I think a lot of them don't know that there's like a hood over it. Like there's like a flap of skin that sometimes you have to lift up to access. But then I learned from Taylor and from Anya that they don't want that flap lifted up. They need that protection because it's too sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to both things, but it doesn't always have to get lifted up.
It's like a treasure chest.
Yeah, as Taylor said, I like it all smushed together.
She's like, I like it all smushed together. I just want to, what do you feel, Noah? Do you like the hood to be lifted to get into the engine parts?
It's too intense.
2 cents.
I love intense.
Well, then you're gonna enjoy your afternoon at the V-Spot.
This is me like self-care getting.
Yeah,
and I don't even know what I need it for. Like,
I know. I watched Nikki. She's like, "Oh, I have so much in my schedule," but then I watch you, and you're like constantly scheduling new shit.
I think it's going to be free, and I'm not doing this as like I'm not advertising this place in any way for form. But this is a thing that happens when you kind of have a celebrity. Is people go, you need to come by my spot. I'll take care of you, and you don't know if that is I'm going to shoot your clit and then charge you $800, or it means and like make you talk to me and take a picture, or it means I'm going to hook it up because shout out to everyone who's ever hooked me up in the world. Like, I am very grateful for all the times people just give you things, but I don't know. So I'm going into this being like, I might be out of pocket for something I don't want to really do.
Yeah.
But it was, I can't turn down free stuff. I'm my mother's daughter.
You're gonna turn down a clit shot for $800? You kidding me?
She's a little Jennifer
kidding me?
Coolidge.
Are you kidding me?
Do you have a plus one in there for me?
Oh, squid salad. My pussy is gonna look like squid salad after that. That's literally what my vagina looks like a lot of times. It's just raw squid salad. Discounted squid salad. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will report to you next week for sure about how that all goes. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Thank you for understanding our recording equipment. If it sounds a little weird, I forgot the equipment. I missed an essential piece of the elements. So we'll be back to sounding normal next week. And I love you, and don't be care. And thank you, Anya, and thank you, Noah, and Jackalope. Oh, we've done that one before, but why not? Jack up that needle and slam it into my clitty.